was at the office, which most of my weekends.
Sunday too?
Yeah. Well, I went in because I had 4 appointments today and 1 court case up this morning.
Oh, good.
So
How
I
are you
just
getting
I
more
had
busy?
to get ready for the appointments.
Maybe you should tell them
How
they all
and why are
turned
you
on.
getting more busy?
Yeah.
How
Jason,
and why are you getting more busy?
these automatically turned on. Just
Okay.
Is it?
I'll just have to.
We're not really interested in what you have to say anyway.
We're not bringing anything up.
We just gotta get that pillar out of the way.
Yeah, forget. Well, I should. Though I should hold them up together. Shouldn't, but it will.
Swell. I know. I was kind of offended. Yeah.
See how professional it is this time.
Yeah.
I got 6 p.m. Is everybody ready?
Sounds good to me.
I'd like to call the Oglesby City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Here.
Cullinan.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Moyle.
here.
Curran.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, number 4, Mayor's Report. Just 2 things. First of all, huge congratulations to the Senior League's Illinois Valley Baseball. Matter of fact, you can see that's why we all got T-shirts on today, to kind of help support them. That was a suggestion by Commissioner Moyle, and she kind of put it together for us, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. So their next game is tomorrow at 8 a.m. on ESPN+. Unfortunately, it is in the AM, so I know it's going to be tougher for people to kind of watch that, but I will tell you that if you don't have the ability to watch it somewhere, you can at least look at it on Game Changer. Maybe if you're at work, they'll give you the updates. It's a really great little app for all that stuff like that. So very excited about that. Looking at some of the stuff either on ESPN Plus or the interviews or Facebook, I'm so excited for the team, and I'm so appreciative that they get to represent our area. Little side note is I especially enjoy, if you look at the stuff on the TV, it'll say Oglesby, Illinois. I recognize it is an Illinois Valley baseball team. Yes, it absolutely is. Just happens to be that the person who had to register for everything is an Oglesby resident, so it gets an Oglesby address. So I think it's pretty great. I really enjoy that. So really appreciate those kids, and I can't wait to when they get back. We'll probably have another celebration and talk about that a little bit more. So the only other thing I have is on Friday we had our first event of the Aloha Summer Back to School event. I know the weather wasn't so great, so Zoe made a kind of a command decision and moved everything to the to City Hall here, and it still ended up being fantastic. So she did a great job with that. I was told they had more than 100 snow cones given out, so she's estimating somewhere between 100 and 150 attendees. So that's fantastic. I'm always excited about that. So those are really the only primary things I have for the mayor's report. So number 5, public comment on agenda items only. Please, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Pat Flecker, and I reside at 217A Oakwood Avenue in Oglesby. And I'm here tonight to support Kathy Knobloch's comments from last meeting in regards to the approval of a zoning administrator. It would seem to me that we have a very qualified individual who would be excellent in that role, and apparently the remuneration that's being requested is within an acceptable parameter as well. So I'm asking for the council members here to put any personal feelings aside, and let's get a zoning administrator voted on for the city of Oglesby. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments for agenda items? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Hello, I also wanted to just kind of echo what they had said. I am a resident that actually has a petition out there, and I am waiting on a zoning administration to come so that I can hopefully proceed with some improvements I've been waiting on for a few months. It's been almost 3 months, and I haven't heard anything at all yet, just because I know we are backlogged. So I also would just like to reiterate and to you know, we don't all know what goes on behind the scenes. And I respectfully, you know, I respect all of you, every one of you. But as a resident that is waiting, as I said, I know I emailed you all that I'm afraid to speak up or say anything because it seems like a lot of personal feelings involved in this situation, and I don't believe that should be the case. It should be what's based on what's best for Oglesby. And if you can't agree on a candidate, that's fine, but I would just like to see something happen. If the candidate's the issue, great. Give us some other ideas. We just, as Oglesby residents, would like to see something happening. So I would like to respectfully come up with a solution. You know, if he's not the best candidate, you know, I don't know. But just respectfully, could there be some type of solution to this? So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on agenda items only? Yep.
Good evening, Brandy Day for the record. Processes, conflict of interest, integrity. Oglesby doesn't have a commissioner problem. In my opinion, it has a process problem. It has a conflict of interest problem, maybe an integrity problem. There are a lot of moving parts to a city council and a city hall that I never realized before. My experiences over the last few years have really enlightened me and made me aware of things that I didn't even think about. So I'm here tonight to put things to think about in your head. Take conflicts of interest. A retired city engineer who is a partner in an engineering firm that provides the services to our city. He is married to the now retired city clerk, who was the zoning administrator for our city, both of whom sit on some very important boards in our town that control zoning, land code, permitting, economic development, incredible levels of control over important processes. One board even has both of them sitting on it. 2 votes in one household in one family. The retired city clerk is now a hired consultant for $85 an hour to help train our new city clerk. The retired city engineer has been pushed as the only obvious best choice for the zoning administrator position. His experience and knowledge are hands down unbeatable. That is absolutely true. But what about processes? Tonight, you'll hear about the lack of zoning administrator delaying a facade improvement grant by weeks, forcing the business owner to complete the work prior to grant approval, which is against the rules. You'll hear the committee denied that part of the grant, but wants the city to move forward in granting it because of the delays at the fault of the city. I fully agree that the city's handling of the situation did cause delays, and that 2 businesses should not be punished because I and many others want to see new and old businesses thrive in this town. But instead of blaming a few commissioners, let's add context to this. This particular city committee has no regularly scheduled meetings. Once an application for a grant is received, they try to, cobble us together as soon as possible. In this case, the application information was incorrect, and if it had to go to a vote, it could have been denied as it was written. So an opportunity came for the owners to revise the application, and then we could convene. And I think that was great. We want businesses to get the grants. Let's help them do that. The email that the updated application was in and the request to convene the board was sent at 3 p.m. with a meeting time set for 6 p.m. that night. I know my name was mentioned in a prior city council meeting, because I was unable to attend that hurried meeting date. I was working. As a small business owner in construction, my schedule is chaotic. Last minute things really don't work out for me. How does this tie into the open zoning admin causing delays? That process aside, and it does need to be filled, but that process aside, an even further delay occurred due to not posting notice of the meeting 48 hours in advance in the appropriate places. The committee had to redo the application approval meeting. This added another week to convene, and after that, it still has to go to the city council for final action. In this case, adding yet one more week. The committee only reviews and makes a recommendation. They don't decide the actual outcome. So if the candidate that is the hands-down best choice due to his experience couldn't fulfill basic Open Meetings Act legal requirements, nor his retired city clerk wife, who is a paid consultant to train our new city clerk, or the new city clerk with almost a year under her belt, if they couldn't follow the most basic of OMA requirements, what does that say about the people we're supposed to entrust with following our civil processes to a T? Some of these people are involved in informal meetings at the city hall, discussing possibly land and zoning alterations without the respective boards. I personally witnessed an informal meeting in the conference room with no less than 5 city hall personnel and a plan commission board member. But why is that so important? If you pay attention to any of the data center chatter, the solar complex chatter.
Hey, Brandy, just want to let you know 5 minutes are up, but if you want to try to wrap it up, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can I just
Yep,
finish out this
please
last
do.
line here? So if you pay any attention to those or have any care for transparency about the land and development in and around our town, the people in these positions, these exact positions, are the ones that are making the decisions. Behind closed doors, maybe without your knowledge or input. I just ask that we take these things into consideration when we're looking for a person for that important zoning administrator position. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other? Yes, sir.
I need to respond to some of this. Brandy was sent a notice of the meeting the week before it happened, as was the clerk. The clerk failed to post the meeting the weekend before. It was my understanding that the meeting was going to happen if they could submit the paperwork. So you would post that meeting so that if your meeting, the information showed up, you could have the meeting. And if it didn't show up, you could cancel it. That was my expectation. It didn't happen, so don't throw that on me, all right? As far as my spouse, she is no longer a contract employee of the city. She's resigned that position due to issues. As far as conflict of interest, if I were the zoning administrator, I would have to come off the plan commission because I'd be an advisor to the plan commission. If I came off the plan commission, I could no longer be on the design review committee because that, you have to be on the plan commission to do that. And I would expect that would have come off the facade committee as well. All right? So a lot of those conflicts of interest go away. As far as my employment goes, I'm a part-time employee whose primary function is to provide mentoring to young structural engineers. How could that be a conflict of interest in what goes on in the city of Oglesby? And I'll stop there for now.
Thanks. Are there any other comments on public? Sorry, was there any other comments that someone had for agenda items? If not, we'll move on. Number 6, approval of minutes from the July 20th, 2026 regular meeting. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I have one. I believe, I know that I did make a motion last meeting to modify section 2 of the zoning administrator ordinance to add as is lawful. But on the second motion, the motion following that, motion was made by McDermott, seconded by Baldridge to modify section 2 of add as is lawful, and section 5 to add a given written statement to the board and other relevant officials. I believe I abstained on that vote. I don't believe I voted yes.
Okay, I'll get that changed. I'll double check and get
I
it.
Okay.
abstained on that young vote.
I think you did, yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll look at that, and pending those, if that is the correct, we'll get those additions in there. Anything else?
That would be it.
Can we get a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes from the July 20th, 2026 regular meeting with corrections as were mentioned.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 7, approval of minutes from the July 6th, 2026 executive session. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the executive session minutes?
Did we review these executive session minutes? Because I know we didn't go into executive session last meeting.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We did.
Okay,
did.
got
We
it.
did.
Okay,
And they were approved.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
That's the one where you came out and had to do the long list of.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the executive session minutes.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 8, approve bills presented for payment in the amount of $76,577.84. That looks really low. Is that,
Yeah, it was low this
it just happened to
Yeah,
be,
it just happened.
followed, we missed like the IMEA pay, okay, I just wanna make sure that wasn't an error. Okay, if there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can we get a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $76,577.84.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 9, approve July 31st, 2026 payroll for the amount of $78,522.42. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can we get a motion to approve the payroll?
I'll motion we approve the payroll for July 31st, 2026 in the amount of $78,522.42.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 10, old business. A, discussion and possible action on zoning administrator, ordinance, and administrator. Curran. Okay, so this might have multiple parts here. I believe the first one that we really need to do is, last meeting, we did kind of motion and approve. McDermott had a couple additional things to make some changes to. We did that, but technically we have to approve the actual ordinance here, so.
Is
just go around-
anybody else able to put that, I'm sorry, sir. Is-
One sec,
Okay,
I'll
go
I'll
ahead.
come, you'll definitely get
Go
an
ahead.
opportunity. So, we'll go around the room, if anybody has anything else they wanted to add, I know it was a bit messy, maybe a little bit, but we got the wording in there hopefully, so we'll go around the room, if everybody has a concern with it or anything, and we can hopefully move on from that. Austin?
No.
Hillary?
No.
Mac?
You can't find it.
Well, I can't bring it up. I
It's
don't
in the
show it.
drive. I'll put it up on the board.
Do you have a copy of it, Pat?
I do.
I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Always love to get it.
So
It's in the drive, right?
it is in the drive.
Okay.
So
Do you see it in
bas-
mine?
No, you're in department head.
Well, I know, but that's.
You're not under the council then, if you're in department heads.
Groups? We were looking
that's
for
it
it
there
earlier.
though.
Okay.
I was in the right one, it's just spinning.
Yeah, it's just been, it's all
Well,
right.
he's got it up here, if you wanted to look at it there, or in front of you.
Why are you able to bring it? I'm not. I got it.
Well, we can, if you're still reviewing, we can move on for a bit. Rich, do you have anything? Okay, so Mac, just let me know whenever you have any
Okay.
comments or.
Thanks.
Commissioner McDermott, does that appear to be the two things that you made the motion for?
don't see the part where, I'll save that comment. I don't see where it says,
Mac, I made 2 changes as instructed by the council. To the end of paragraph 2, I added 4 words, as authorized by law. And at the end of paragraph 5, I added, after giving written statements of said decisions to the mayor, city council,
There
and
it is,
any
okay.
applicable boards. And that's what was moved, seconded, and voted on by the council at the last meeting.
okay, I see it, thanks. Go ahead and hand that back down.
Did you have any other comments on that?
I don't know if this is the time to ask or not. What was the comment that you made on the radio? Why did you want a zoning administrator? Could you
I'm
explain?
sorry,
it?
what?
What was the
Are you
comment?
asking me why
Yeah.
I made a comment on the radio?
Yeah, what was your comment?
I don't
pertaining to?
I do not recall
Oh,
my
okay.
comment on the radio, but I was
don't
asked
either.
about it, so I commented that we need one because of the different stuff. I'm not sure how that pertains to the ordinance, but,
It doesn't.
okay. What is your question specifically?
I just wanted to know what you said, for sure. And I wanted to hear it from you, not just.
I don't recall.
It's okay. I'm done.
Okay. All right, if there's no discussion on that, we got those
I
two
think people
additions.
need to listen to that
Oh,
radio.
Hold
though.
on. What's that?
I think people should have heard you on the radio, though.
Well, if they did, they did. I hope.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
Opportunity.
Not exactly sure.
To be clear, do we need a motion since we approved this last meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's the, no, this is the
Yeah.
official approval of it though, so, okay. If there's no other additions or corrections, we can get a motion to approve the ordinance.
I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 1315-080326.
And I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Abstain.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Okay, so that's officially passed now. So if you remember last meeting, one of the concerns we had is, you know, I thought we had resolved this to the point to where, to be fair to Commissioner McDermott, we didn't actually officially approve it until today. Now it's actually in the books. That was really more just the direction to give the attorney to write it. So I know Commissioner McDermott said he didn't feel he was ready to appoint somebody because we still had to get those fixes for the zoning administrator ordinance. Okay, great. That's been resolved now. So I still believe we have an extremely qualified individual. I will comment on, I know we just had a citizen comment about error in posting it up for initial meeting. I don't know if that necessarily was an error on the board. I think there was an error maybe done at City Hall because there, again, it's because there was no zoning administrator. And matter of fact, I guess I can take part of the blame for that. So to get the thing moving for them, they needed somebody to coordinate with the customer, the applicant. So I took that on. I looked at it. I referred to Becky Kleinert because she was the one that helped co-wrote all the changes. And technically, she is not, here's the odd thing. She's not really a member of that board. The reason that she is because the rules are that until it's been replaced for that, she was the last one. So even though she resigned, that's how she has a seat for it because one of the seats is the zoning administrator. So, so that's why she was involved with that. I asked her to take a look at it. She had some recommendations, a thorough recommendations of some things that were wrong with the application or things that could be better done. I said, that's fantastic. If you could give me your assessment, and then if there are some other board members that have an assessment as well, I'll communicate that with the customer for the applicant. So I got that to them. And then Becky at the time, this is, I think it was the week before, said, well, they can meet as early as Tuesday. And I said, I will find out if the customer can, the applicant can get that in time. So they end up doing that. I think between all that confusion, and I'll take that on for me, maybe it didn't get posted properly. I do believe that the board members were aware, not everybody could make it. But then somebody had a concern that the meeting wasn't properly done up on that previous Tuesday, so then they scheduled for the next Tuesday. And then everybody was present there. They rehashed some of the same things, but they gave an opportunity for two other members that weren't there to ask more detailed questions. So I don't think there was a problem with it. It was done well. My point is, I don't think that was a fault of somebody as an indication that makes them a bad zoning administrator. That's my 2 cents with that. So with that being said, I'll go around the room if anybody has anything additional to say about an individual to fill the position. Awesome.
Yeah, I will also take some degree of blame, I guess, as well. I was actually conversing with Jim about this, and he forwarded me this email that he did send to the facade committee, saying, all there is a question as to if the meeting agenda for last night's meeting was posted with adequate notice to remedy that issue. We're going to meet again on 6 p.m. on Tuesday, July 28th. Please let me know if you're able to attend. Jen, Patty, please post the agenda for that meeting as soon as possible. So, I believe, yeah, so, was that the? That was the second one, okay, yeah. But regardless, I do think that there was some, I do believe that there was some miscommunication. I will personally take responsibility for that. I actually put out a memo to our employees in City Hall after this. Again, I don't know where it aired, where the process aired. Like I said, I think there's some culpability on my end, maybe on others' end, who knows. But at the end of the day, it stops here. So I will bear the brunt of that. But I just said, moving forward, I put this memo in the office. We're obviously, as the employees know, we have to post agendas 48 hours prior to the start of any meeting. I asked that the board chairman, moving forward, submit an agenda to City Hall for City Hall to then post on the website. I asked that on this memo specifically, because I know we talked about this at the last meeting, but I specifically asked that at least 48 hours prior, those also be added to the community calendar and Outlook, which is the city events part of our website under, I think it's just the lifestyle tab or something like that. And then I also advised the people in City Hall that if you don't receive a copy of a board's agendas 48 hours prior to the start of the meeting, we really shouldn't be letting them use City Hall for that purpose. So, there are errors in process sometimes, and this has actually been kind of an issue, and so hopefully that will rectify the issue. But like I said, I'll take ownership for that. As far as I'm concerned, I think Jim is one of the most kind of black and white, by the book, adherence to the rules that supporter of adherence to the rules that I know. So I certainly don't think that would have ever been his intention, and I think that he knows, obviously how that should be done. What I will say, though, moving forward with this, is, again, I just don't really, I think I'm going to say I don't really see another option, but I don't say that in any way to discredit Jim, because Jim is a very qualified candidate. But we've talked about other candidates. We talked about one other candidate in particular, and actually I called and spoke to that candidate this past Thursday, and some of the comments that he gave to me were, in quote, these aren't, I guess, direct quotes, but they're paraphrased. Why are you not hiring Jim? He's ideal. I would do everything you can to put Jim into this position if possible. I'm not the most qualified person who applied for the job, but I do believe that I could do it. So, even he, the other candidate that we've discussed, suggested that we appoint Jim to the position because of Jim's expertise and also for the cost at which we'd be getting him. I think also, I think also that this council should not be turning down any sort of expertise when that expertise, when that person with that expertise offers their services to the city. We do, I think, I give a lot of credit to the girls in the office. They do a very good job. But there was a sizable, hole left by the loss of our last city clerk because, again, she was also kind of encyclopedic as well. And so, granted, maybe the city council, previous administrations shouldn't have put so many eggs into one basket and entrusted one person with so much. She obviously did a very good job with everything that she was entrusted, but obviously it left us in kind of a precarious position. So I think what we should be doing is building expertise, and I think Jim is offering us his expertise, and I think we should take advantage of it. And the last thing I would say is that at the last meeting, Commissioner McDermott, he said that in his the reason that he would not support Jim as the zoning administrator, or why he wouldn't vote for Jim at the last meeting, he said it's not the person. He said
Hold on.
He's incorrect.
You'll get an opportunity, whatever it is.
we can play back the clip if we need to, but
Yeah, let's do it.
he said it wased the person. He said
That
it
is
was
exactly what he
the
said.
ordinance. Okay, we've now changed that ordinance. There's no excuse for at least for him to not support Jim Kleiner as zoning administrator now. So
But once again, you're telling me what I should do.
I will
Yeah,
be done
telling
there.
me what I
Okay.
should do.
Hillary.
So after last meeting, I didn't publicly, I feel it was very uncomfortable, first of all. There is exclusions
Yes, it is.
for employment for a reason. I don't want to be sitting up here being like, talking about personnel issues. That's why there's an exclusion to do it back there. So I felt like it wasn't right for me to explain the reasoning why I didn't vote yes twice, without
times.
talking to Jim first. So I did pull Jim over and I explained to him that I do have concerns about conflict of interest. It's not just my concerns. There are constituents that are also concerned with the appearance of that. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be proven conflict of interest, but if there's a distrust with government because there's the appearance of conflict of interest, it does just as much harm. Now, I'm not saying that Jim's not qualified. He is. We're not trying to get Jim out of the city. He sits on a magnitude of boards. He still attends city meetings as a Chambliss employee. So, well, I saw an email last month. Okay. Well, I again don't feel like it's right to pull up the sensitive nature of that email, but that's where I stand on it. And I have since then reached out to Austin and tried to brainstorm different options, working for a system that isn't dependent solely on one person. If there is another lapse in a zoning administrator, if it's Jim, because if it's going to go up for vote, and I know where I stand, and I will accept whatever the terms are of that vote, but I know where I stand morally, ethically, my integrity, this is where I am firm on. So if he does get the position and he leaves tomorrow, we're going to be in the same flux. So my intention was some kind of succession plan, somebody who was a little bit more informed in the clerk's office to keep zoning going. We talked about it in great detail. It doesn't sound like it's going to go forward, but that was one of the plans, in addition to even doing it interimly to the building inspector until we find an alternative person. So I guess that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mac.
Well, Austin, I did not say what you were referring to. I said I have nothing against Jim, and it's not about Jim that I voted no. However, I did vote no on Jim being nominated, okay? But I do have some other questions. Since day one, okay, you're fine. Did you want to talk, Austin, again? I mean, you're making your comments.
That was Jason.
I said something. My
Well,
apologies.
he
Go
reacted.
ahead, please.
That's okay. Jim, I do have some questions for you. Are you on any board with Chambliss at all?
No.
Are
I'm
you-
on the board of directors and haven't been for 3 years. I'm not a principal at Chambliss and Associates. I have no hiring, firing, or contractual authority at Chambliss and Associates. I'm an employee, just like the people that do the CAD drafting. I'm an employee, just like a land surveyor. Goes out and I do the job, the task they assign to me. And the task right now is training young structural engineers to do what I used to do.
Okay. So you're not actually employed by Chandler?
I am employed by Champions. They pay me to mentor these.
Right, okay, they're paying you to interview, to coach the newbies, to train them.
Yes.
That
So,
just,
so just like the other day, when you and Ross and Troy,
Right.
two Chamberlain employees, were out walking the sidewalks for Safe Routes to School, right?
right,
They asked me questions based on my experience. What would I do, right? I'm mentoring these young engineers as well.
wow.
That's what I do. You saw me in action.
I saw you
Was
in
there any
action
conflict
since
of
day
interest
one.
there when I did that?
I don't believe there was. I
Okay.
appreciate everything you do.
All right.
Since I've started as commissioner, Jim, you've been the one person that's asked, anytime I'd ask a question, you'd give me an answer. I've asked other people in the city that didn't give me any answer or just say, well, drop the ball, and I'd end up having to find it myself. I didn't always agree with you, and sometimes I did.
Well, I don't
But
expect
I-
you to have to
that-
agree with me.
I'm
Give my
saying
opinion
that
and they
that's a
can take
good
it or
thing.
not. That's what the city administrator does.
That's what it is. I've asked you plenty of questions, and you've always came up with an answer. You've even asked me one time, well, Mac, nobody ever came up, said that before, never came up with that. You remember that day?
I do not.
I do. You looked at me and said, well, nobody ever asked that before.
Okay.
And I said, well, that's odd. I find that odd. But you did give me an answer, and you told me why it worked the way it did, and I appreciate that. I guess from what I'm getting from everybody, the main issue is whether he has conflict of interest. Like you said, you'd have to be off the boards. I don't see any problem with that.
Now, to be clear, if you look at the land development code, the zoning administrator attends the zoning board of appeals meetings, they attend the plan commission meetings, answer questions and provide advice.
Correct.
They're a non-voting attendee at that meeting.
Yeah, I get it. I appreciate it. My main concern would be if there is any conflict of interest, and you told me there should be none, and I have no reason not to believe you. If the board if the council can show me where there's conflict of interest, I'd like to hear it. Rich?
Okay. Rich, you have anything?
You have anything? Yeah,
Jim, are you familiar with CPOM LLC? Are you familiar with CPOM LLC?
CPOM.
you mind if I show it to him?
Yes.
I thought so. Just wanted to know. I have no further questions for you there. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I
Uh,
ask? Oh,
what-
I
sorry.
just
We're still going.
On July 22nd, in regards to this meeting that happened and didn't happen, I guess, but did happen. On July 22nd, I sent to the clerk, "Good morning. I would like to FOIA, and as a commissioner, I am requesting any and all information pertaining to last night's meeting. Please include when and where this meeting was posted for 48 hours. Thank you. Have a great day." So I was the one probably that questioned that meeting. Also, on Wednesday, July 29th, all I received in that 22nd meeting, or the thing was exactly what happened in the meeting, in the packet, or whatever it was there. It was nothing that said. On July 29th, I sent another request to the clerk. Pursuant to the Illinois Freedom of Information Act, I request copies of the following public records, including the date this request is fulfilled. All emails and electronic communications relating to the meetings. All records showing when and where the notice of the agenda was posted on July 21st, including any posting logs, emails, drafts, revisions, photographs, and other documentation. All calendar invitations, meeting requests, memoranda notes, reports, correspondence related to the meeting. Unfortunately, that was all I got at the very beginning, was the packet of information, I guess, that everybody had. Never got one single thing about the emails that had led up to that or anything like that, so I can't really make a comment on that to go back with you, Austin, because I've been withheld again from the.
The newest FOIA isn't
Hang on,
yet.
Jen.
It's 5 days.
Hold on, Jen.
That we need, though.
No,
That's all I'm
when
saying.
you FOIA something, I don't have to FOIA it again at the same thing, and I am a commissioner, if you didn't know.
I
Okay.
do know, yes.
Yeah.
And I sent you all the information that I had from the first FOIA, and the second FOIA hasn't come due yet, so I'm still gathering.
I haven't even
information
turned in
for
my
that.
stuff for that second FOIA yet, cause it's not due.
So when I say I'm requesting any and all information, what does that mean?
Well, if you're talking about your most recent FOIA request, it's not due yet.
Well, it was from July 22nd.
What was your July 22nd FOIA request?
I requested, I would like the FOIA, and as a commissioner, I am requesting any and all information pertaining to last night's meeting. So why did you guys decide what it is?
Well, if that was the extent of your FOIA request, I think what you provided was sufficient.
You think? I wonder if
Yeah,
the PSC
maybe you
thinks
should be
that.
a little bit more specific in your
We'll figure
FOIA
it out,
request.
Austin.
That's-
Don't you worry. We'll get it
All right.
figured
Maybe-
out.
maybe-
And this is my
All right.
talk,
All right.
Austin, so sit there and
You
keep
did ask
running your
him,
mouth.
you did ask him a question, so, go ahead, please continue.
I think that's all I have here.
Okay, all right. Couple things, with that. All right, I took a couple notes on some things. I do agree that conflict of interest is a concern. I do believe there's a bigger concern of actual conflict of interest more than appearance of conflict of interest. I do believe there's a big difference between those two things. Both are concerning, obviously, but, in this case, I really don't think it is a conflict of, I don't think it's a conflict. What I think it is, it's the appearance of it because somebody is so knowledgeable and have been involved with the city for so long, right? So I think that is what people are confusing with that, thinking that there's a conflict of interest. In fact, I do agree with you, I completely concur with you on the city for too long. I think, actually, Austin might have said it and you seconded it, that we have putting too many eggs in one basket for so long into one role. For example, the last clerk, one of the most capable human beings out there when it comes to anything administrative. She was trusted with so much finance, clerk doings, zoning, just an amazing amount of stuff. So the problem with that is, yes, we put ourselves in a position where one person gets locked in for all these things. You have one single point of failure. The alternate person that we have, while super qualified, he already serves as our electric inspector and our building inspector. I did have a concern of if you make him have zoning administrator, we're kind of shifting that responsibility, but we're doing the same thing. We're putting it all into one person. I do believe that what we're doing here is if we give it to Jim Kleiner, we're actually making that better. Because before, the zoning administrator used to be mixed in with the city clerk. So that's at least improved that upon by separating those roles a little bit better. The other thing is, as far as involvement with the boards. So I think what I mentioned to all of the council beforehand is if he was to become the zoning administrator, he would, there's at least one board he was gonna step down from. Technically, he'd have to step down from a lot more boards because he's not on that board. He is an actual advisor to the board. So his involvement still might be involved in that, but if you're concerned about somebody having too much authority, he is no longer going to be a voting member on those boards. So you're actually, again, I'm just trying to say that you're actually separating duties technically more so by not putting all eggs in one basket. Okay, so that hits both of those things up there. So, with that being said, it's kind of an open forum here. If anybody has any other comments on something, I can't remember if there's one more thing I wanted to comment on because I think the individual would still be the right person for the job. And like Austin said, when expertise comes to the table that wants to help, we should be looking at first and foremost. So, or anything else?
I would add, I think this whole conflict of interest thing, especially with the fact that,
I can show you. I just don't want to do it publicly. I don't think it's right.
okay, well, you can,
Okay.
okay, well, I don't know what you're referring to.
Well,
But what I will say, from what I'm aware of at least, with this whole conflict of interest thing, at least the stuff that's been argued out here, I think that what people are arguing about is something that is fundamentally the result of living in a small town. You don't have a whole lot of people, I mean, just look at how many people are here tonight to show up for the city council meeting. This is more than normal. And this isn't a whole lot, right? You don't have a whole lot of people in town who want anything to do, and I don't blame them, who you don't have a lot of people in town that want anything to do with city government. And so when you do have somebody who steps up, you know, I think that's a great thing, and you should be willing to take advantage of that. Now, as far as Jim specifically, right? Jim would be off those boards, like he said. Jim is doing, like he said, some sort of mentoring thing for Chamlin, whatever. But, you know, speaking to this, you know, dynamic here, I believe, I mean,
if somebody working for our city engineering firm is such a big issue and a conflict of interest, I mean, I do believe we have at least one other person who works for Chamberlain on planning commission in the city of Oglesby. So, I mean, what about that? I don't think it's an issue. I appreciate him for his service and him stepping up and filling that role. But, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate that. I want smart, knowledgeable people to serve in those positions. You know, and especially, you know, I'll say, I've taught in two school districts, but it is, and you know, even in this school district, it is not uncommon to see even on a school board member who has a spouse working in the school, a school administrator who has a spouse working in the school. Is that a conflict of interest? I mean, maybe to some degree, but at the same time, I mean, not really. I'm sure people can still compartmentalize things and act ethically. And also, if you don't have that person, if you just exclude that person entirely from being able to serve, who are you going to have fill those spots? And so that's kind of the situation we're in now. The big thing here is who's going to fill this spot? We don't have another person. We've talked about another person, and that other person has said, well, the arrangement that Hillary and I kind of talked about is not going to work. We explored another option there. There's been no other names that have come up. I'm receptive to them if those names come up. But I mean, this position has been vacant since the departure of Becky, which was last year at this point. I mean, it's time to. I can get maybe having some reservations or whatever, and I don't know what it is that Hillary or Commissioner Moyle is referring to. Maybe, you know, I'd be interested in seeing that, but I really don't think there's any good reason to not support Jim as zoning administrator. So that's it.
I do have one question, and Rich, maybe you're setting me up. If you're setting me up for it, then I'll take the bait. What was the LLC thing that you mentioned? Because I don't know what you're referring to. What is that?
Limited Liability Corporation, where Jim is the manager, was.
What
whatever.
is it?
It's a limited liability company. It has members, filing date, registered agent's name and registered office. Purpose of the liability company is organize a transaction of any and all lawful business for which the limited liability companies may be organized under this act. Jim Kleiner's name is on there.
What's the
It's
company?
the Chamlin. So
What is the company? I don't understand what your reference was.
CPOM.
What's CPOM?
I don't know, Jim, you wanna
Jim,
tell
if
us
you
what the,
could,
what
he
the company
brought it
is?
up, and I was just concerned if there was a point trying to be made. I don't know.
Nothing top secret about it. CPOM is a group of 4 people right now, soon to be 5, that own 3 buildings, and we're landlords, and we rent them out.
It's an LLC business,
It's an
business you're
LLC.
part of.
And one of the tenants is Chamberlain and Associates.
Okay,
I'm the landlord for Chamberlain and Associates.
okay. Thank you for that. I was just curious what it
That
was.
doesn't cloud my judgment.
No, it was brought up, so I was like, I don't know what that meant, so I
Thanks,
thought I'd
Jim.
ask. Okay. Anybody else have anything? It's open forum. Anybody has anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Contrary to what's been said here, that no other names were mentioned, Brandy Day's name was mentioned, and she stepped up and, you know, did that and was laughed at. Pat has mentioned multiple times that Becky is still the zoning administrator in that room there, and he's told us over and over that she still is, even if she's resigned from her position. Up until recently, we don't know because we're not told much stuff, but she was still part of the city and getting paid by the city, so I'm confused as to when we actually truly lost our zoning administrator. And then I have emails here where Jason is the administrator and taking on projects and giving them okays and such that I guess I'm just confused as to how did we not have the zoning administrator? Where'd they go?
She quit.
Well, she didn't though, because you told us multiple
quit.
times that she
She
didn't
quit.
resign, and
She
though she
quit.
legally resigned from that,
She
she
quit.
can't possess it. Oh, that's
Okay.
funny.
So to refer one thing that you're talking about, Rich, just as a point of correction, you're referring to an email to where I was trying to get a specific development that I can't speak about just yet, based on a parking lot size, and we didn't have a zoning administrator. So what I had asked the question was, there is a part of the code that says any office or officer that's vacant, the mayor steps in for that. So what I did was I assumed that that would be me. So I said, I don't think there's an issue with this. The zoning administrator gets to make the call, I'll make the call. And then, since that email that you're referring to, our city attorney says, that provision in the law does not necessarily mean that you are the zoning administrator. And I said, well, okay, well, then now we have that resolved. So that's the email you're referring to. That's been fixed.
So it
Okay.
is resolved then, you're not the zoning administrator?
Do you remember the attorney saying that I am not
I
the zoning
I
administrator?
remembered it since the first time you stated it, but
Okay.
you also took on the economic developer role and you claim that you still have it, and,
Okay.
I don't know how. If you don't have the zoning administrator, you certainly don't
Okay.
hold the economic developer position.
Okay.
But you're hoarding all that
Do
information.
we want to
from
focus
council.
on this thing here? Okay. is
Well, we've
anybody-
already voted on this twice. I don't.
Well, the last
Didn't
time
we
was
just
an
pass an
abstain.
ordinance, Pat, that something wasn't supposed to be on the agenda if it failed?
That's
for
if it
3
gets
months?
removed.
Yeah, and in this case.
If something failed.
If it's a nomination, I think he can keep nominating.
Oh,
the
I
same
didn't see
person
that
over and
provision in there. That was
Well,
supposed to
it's
have been
not
an
in the
addendum.
ordinance,
Oh.
that's why you didn't see it in there.
Okay.
Imagine that.
I
Does
do
anybody
have
have
other
anything
rules.
else? Go ahead, please.
Hillary, I'm curious as to what you know. But you're saying,
Again, it's the appearance of a conflict of interest. So what I do, I deal very closely with entity types, business types. The LLC can be found on there. The Illinois State Comptroller shows all contracts that Chamlin has with the state of Illinois, and it's nothing against Chamlin's. But if I can find it in 3 minutes of who executed the contracts for 2026, says Jim's name on it. Do I think Jim did it this year? No, because it's a perpetual contract for 3 years. But here's the thing. I found it in 3 minutes. It caused conflict. It makes people go, huh, am I being discriminated against?
Okay, I mean, that's an opinion. I don't think that's the case.
And I'm not going to get off of it because constituents do have these concerns. Somebody has to represent them as well.
There'll always be a concern out there. If that, I'll give you an example that Austin touched on. When I was on school board, we had multiple school board members that had spouses that were employees in the school. Is it a conflict of interest? Not really. I mean, they have a job to do. They're elected into that position. They're legally allowed to be there. Does it have the appearance that there is a conflict of
But
interest?
it's an election. The people put them there.
Not in every case, because sometimes people would get appointed. Like, for example, I never got elected to school board, I was appointed. One of them was somebody that was appointed into that
Another
position.
time? and then
So,
another?
so I don't think that's necessarily true, but I do agree. I concede that you are right, that the appearance of conflict of interest is still a concern, but it is a far, far stretch from an actual conflict of interest.
And that's fine. I can be on the losing end of something.
Yeah.
That's where I stand, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
No, it's fine. Absolutely. You shouldn't. Okay.
I
is there-
also just want to add one thing.
All right.
Rich said Brandy put her name forward. I have no record of Brandy putting her name forward. Instead, what I have is this email from Rich in all capital letters with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, that was in response
However
to you guys
many
saying that
exclamation points. That was
nobody
the only.
else.
That was the only time her name was referenced. in
Because I was
regard
sick
to
of
the
hearing how many
position,
people
so.
keep saying that nobody else at all was
Okay,
done.
but she
and
never
you
put
guys
her
are trying
name
to
in
make
for
us
it, so
look
that's
bad, but
incorrect.
yet you did have stuff. And in all reality, it's Jason's position is to nominate someone. When that fails twice, you're supposed to nominate someone else. That's your job,
That's
is
not
to
so-
find, where,
That's
what
not
do you
true.
mean, no?
But it is factually incorrect to say she put her name forward, but she did not.
She did not. And
She
we-
did to me.
Okay, well,
Can't really tell that, but.
yeah, I commented on that in the last email because I didn't know if you're talking about the
Oh,
maintenance
yeah,
person or
Jason,
whatever.
quit lying.
It doesn't help
I s-
with
that's
the
exactly what I
last
said.
meeting. Like, I had
You
people
said
that
what
were
you said.
interested, and the way that it was presented was like only the person who wrote the code could ever understand the code. Well, then how can we expect contractors to follow the code if you have to have been the one that wrote it? I had people who said after watching that, no thanks.
All right. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's true that it has to be that person. I mean, it's just, it's super helpful. I mean, if Jim didn't
very helpful.
exist, or let's say he moved away.
But that's what I'm
or-
saying, that you're not
or-
gonna get people
or
that are
whoever
gonna
wrote the
apply.
code 20 years ago would have passed on. I mean, it's not possible for them to take that position. It'd have to be somebody else. I think there's an advantage of that. So, all right, I gotta stop going around and around and around and around on this. Any other comments? If there's no other comments, I think we've resolved all the stuff. The primary thing, last one, was that the ordinance needed to be approved. We have spent way too much time on this. So I'm gonna make a nomination of Jim Kleinert to the position of zoning administrator.
Are we just gonna do this until you wear us out, or what's the objective?
I did not have, there was 2 votes yes, 2 votes no, 1 abstain last time. So I'm putting
But
the
initially
nomination
there
up
was
again.
3 no.
It was not.
What do you mean?
There was 3
There
no?
was.
Do I have that incorrect?
Yeah, because, Max said no.
yeah, I said no.
I thought it was
the
an
one
abstain.
before that was, there
The one before was the
And if you
abstain,
count
okay.
the ones in the executive session,
Because
that's
I
about
could have,
five.
I could have swore that what I heard was that he wasn't against it was because of the ordinance. So now that the ordinance is resolved, I'm going to put it up to see if that can be. So I'm gonna make the nomination for Jim Kleinert. Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
No.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
He's the only one we got disqualified. I understand your concerns.
Where did the qualifications come from?
Well, he knows the ordinances.
Mac, I need a yes,
know what
a
you
no,
need.
abstain,
I know
or
what you need,
pass.
okay?
Okay.
Let me tell you something. That's the same thing that happened last meeting, and that was wrong. Okay? Unless you want to vote for me, go ahead.
Just need a vote.
You're
Whatever it
absolutely
is.
right. Come on.
You have options to pick from.
I'm gonna have to vote yes, because we don't have anybody else. I don't see anybody.
Moyle
No.
and Curran.
Wouldn't it be crazy if I said something else? Yes,
Well,
okay.
why would you?
Done.
You know you're going to
All right.
anyway.
So do we take a vote again next meeting, or 2 more votes? or how does it work?
All right, that took entirely way too long.
Too long, it should have been
Next
done in
topic.
executive
So-
session when it was
Yeah,
done.
next
So-
meeting, we'll do it again.
Okay, I think before we can move on, there is one more thing we have to do with this, because I believe now it's a new position for somebody that's never had before. Do we need to create the pay rate for that? Is that correct, Pat? Do you need a?
Yeah, we'll need to do an ordinance, but Jim has tendered a certain requested pay rate, which you all found very acceptable, so I think I
Yes,
have
it was.
my, marching orders to get
Okay.
that ready for the next.
So do you need a motion to create that?
I do.
Okay, can we get a motion to create the modification to create the pay rate as put forth, submitted by Jim Kleiner?
A motion to what?
To,
Establish Jim's pay rate by ordinance pursuant to his request.
Can we read off what his request was?
I
Don't have it
can,
in front
since
of
you
me.
asked for it, he gave a rate of $25 an hour for the first 10 hours of the month, and then after that, it was $50 an hour. That's what he put forth, and I hope I know he's in the audience right now, I hope he's still, after all this debacle, still agrees to do it. Can we get a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to establish an ordinance establishing the rate of pay for Jim Kleiner as zoning administrator at the rate specified by Mayor Kern.
Is there a second? So we've appointed a zoning administrator, but we're not gonna pay him.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle
I.
and Curran.
Aye, okay. B, discussion and possible action on Carico Design Review Board meeting current. I think it was supposed to say, Building Improvement Grant, Committee, actually, so that's okay. All right, so with this is the first one we've had in a while. I'm very excited, and I guess there's another one coming down the pipe, and there's even another one that I'll get to under new business actually coming. So I'm excited that there's new activity happening. So the board had met, and I know we've talked, hopefully we won't rehash this all. The board had met, there were some concerns if they had a proper meeting, so they did meet again the next week. Talked about the same types of things, so the summary of it was, they made a motion to, or they recommended to the board for us to approve the facade grant in the amount of $6,195. The second part of it, I should probably read all the stuff ahead of time, was to deny the permanent improvement grant portion of it due to work already being underway as the terms of the grant, but to recommend that the amount be approved at the council's discretion due to delays by the city in processing the application, because that has happened in the past. So I won't go into all the details here. Hopefully everybody's got a chance to look at the minutes from the facade committee, but they break down the prices of why that is the rate, because it's a new business in town. 75% of it goes for this, for the cost, for the lowest bidder. So basically, those are the two numbers. I, for one, am excited. It's a vacant building that a new business is going in. It's a new service business, so I'm very excited about it. So that's all I really have to say. I'll go around the room if anybody has any other comments.
I don't.
Okay. Hillary?
I'm happy that we're gonna fill the business. The application itself required a building permit. I didn't see the building permit uploaded. Is that
Yeah,
To
they've
come- okay.
gotten their building and electrical permit now.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Mac?
I'm all for it.
Excellent. Rich?
Nothing.
Okay, if that's being said, if we can get a motion to approve the recommendations of the Building Improvement Grant Committee for 2 payments, I believe, in the amount of $6,195.
Wait.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do I have that read correctly?
Yeah.
What was the part
Yeah,
where?
they had denied one part, but asked for you all to actually approve it, because they had to deny it as it's written, but you guys could override it
Okay.
if you wanted to, if you needed to.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that, concerns?
Why didn't they pass it?
They,
It says in the minutes, I think that work had started, if I'm not incorrect, I
had
think
already started
work had
because-
started prior to this meeting, being convened and conducted, and there was a concern about how long it took for, the application to be processed and for this meeting to be arranged, and so, basically, I think it said it took them, 2 weeks, for the clerk's office to provide the committee with the application, and 3 weeks for the committee to arrange a meeting, so, I think it was just,
This is a good example of why I appreciate our boards, because I know I've talked about this in different closed session stuff. I appreciate our boards and our employees that look at things at a black and white thing. And they make a recommendation based on the rules that we have provided them. And so that's why they came back and said, approve this portion, technically by the rules as written, this portion should be denied. But then they give a recommendation because we have the ability to do something different. And it has been done, that has happened in the past. So, I like the idea that they put that forward for that, so everybody knows all this stuff and we're as transparent as possible. So, any questions on that?
no, yeah, just, I mean, hopefully, again, I don't exactly know what the holdup was with it, but, I mean, as long as this doesn't, become a recurring trend and, whatever.
Well, we do got 2 more coming down the pipe for this, and hopefully by now having a zoning administrator that will give it a little bit more
Yeah.
direction with that.
That probably was a big part of it.
Hillary, anything else?
I mean, this is, I'm gonna be honest, I'm voting to approve this, but the process part of it is something that I'm having a hold up with here.
and I need to take-
Because, and on top of this, like, nothing against you, Nick. You submitted your stuff, but there were people in town who submitted stuff before you. And I get it, the absence of the zoning administrator, fine. But why did this one get bumped to the top where something else
The
didn't?
facade?
Well, anything.
Well, the other stuff is significantly more complicated, like, for example, and I'll talk about that a little bit when we get down to 11E. I mean, the the building for the liquor store thing is incredibly complex. So it's not that things aren't processing for that, but that's even one that's been kind of put on hold because we don't have a zoning administrator. That one's incredibly complex. This one isn't as complex, if you're asking why things took.
But like the resident that came to the podium, I don't have any record of anything, and I asked like that she had something in the works.
I'm so apologize, I'm so sorry, I don't remember your name. Were you the one that had the short-term rental application?
No.
Was that you? I'm so sorry, I have you mixed up then. Okay, I don't recall that
So,
specific one.
so nonetheless, I guess the topic at hand is this. I want to encourage maybe a process improvement in this. And I would be happy to be involved, but I know nobody wants me involved, so.
No, I
No, not you guys, but.
No, I think it's good, and, I'm always about process improvement, I really, really am. And again, Austin was talking earlier about the mistakes that we've made or something like that with getting things posted for an agenda. I just want to go back, if this was 6 or, 5, 6, 7 years ago or longer, there was never an agenda ever posted for anything other than the ones that were super required by law, like something that had to go in the paper, like zoning, like the zoning board of appeals and the plan commission meetings. All the other ones, park board meetings, it never really got done that way. So we have gotten way better with this. Granted, there's always room for improvement and we should be better about stuff, but we have not been perfect. But it has been a process. So, okay, anything else? Anybody have anything else on it? We can get a motion then to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Do you have to do it in two, since we're not just fully accepting the board's decision?
Well, however you'd like to make the motion.
I mean, that's my
You can do
question.
it either way, but I think you could do it all at once, Hillary. Somebody could do it all at once.
Okay, so do
Because
we
it's
need
all
to add the
related to
two
the same
numbers together here?
I would do it super easy and say, I would make the motion to approve the facade amount and the payments of, both payments of that way you don't have to add it.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to accept the recommendation of the facade committee from Tuesday, July 28th, to approve the facade grant in the amount of $6,195, as well as the permanent improvement grant of $6,195.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
All
McDermott,
right,
Moyle,
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Also, another thing with this is I should have mentioned this too, when they put this forward, there was also I shouldn't say an error. They were trying to use the secondary part of the new program that we have with utility abatement, but they didn't have all their documentation in there, and some of the stuff was supposed to go to the other one. The good news is that utility abatement one, as per written, can actually be applied for even up to 90 days after the business opens. So I'm still hoping we're gonna see that come through, because I still wanna see a business utilize that. So, okay, C, discuss new events, Curran. Okay, so the concern I'm not trying to do a gotcha moment, but I've had people from the community come up and ask, how are we paying for the music in the park down at Lehigh? And I gave them an answer that I don't know, because we didn't do an appropriations for it, and we said that I remember trying to fight to try to get more events in the city, and I believe the thing was that the city was going to have to approve any new events. So I guess my question is, what is the answer that we are going to give when residents ask me, or other businesses say, hey, how are we paying for the music in the park down at Lehigh?
I would probably respond that this is the third year in a row for that, so it's not even considered a new event. And also, I guess it's being paid for the same way that we pay for the Dickinson House Foundation to have the municipal band over there. How do we pay for our summer events and everything else for the children? Like, there's a Parks Fund, right?
Well, the summer, you're talking about for like Fun Fest, the summer
Well, like
fun
when
things?
your son was teaching tennis or whatever, soccer or whatever, like, those are all events too. but-
Oh, I don't consider those events. I consider
No,
that
no,
our
it's what
Parks
you
and Rec
consider.
program. But, I mean, I guess that's splitting hairs on that. As far as the Summer Fun Fest things and everything like that, that's, again, I just want to emphasize, that was a big concern that this council raised, and we specifically put that into the appropriations. So hopefully that has been resolved. I know there's always better ways to do that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a party down in the park. I think that's a great thing. I just want to be able to make sure that we are doing it properly. Plus, I wanted to give you an opportunity. You did send something out over the weekend. I said technically by accident, I have this on there. Did you want to talk about the other event possibly, because it's such a short term
Yeah.
to do so?
I did get a response back from this gentleman. He asked us about having a circus here in town besides the one we're at here. He said, hello, thank you for your reply. I have answers for all your questions, and let's hope the council likes it. There is no hosting fee, financial commitment from the city. We never charge the cities we visit. The only thing we need from the city is a space to make it happen. What we need from the city resources are a grassy field, about 125 by 125 foot, to set up the tent, then somewhere in the vicinity to hook a garden hose to. Many places we go put us in the public park where there are restrooms for the people. If that is the case here, that is fantastic. But if not, I can also rent in portable restroom units. My team covers the entirety of operations. We set everything up, staff the event, and clean everything up when it's done. I also have insurance for the event, which we add to the city as additional insured on for providing the space. In terms of dates, I'd say a Saturday, Sunday weekend would be best for Oglesby. The two options that work best logistically for us would be August 29th, 30th, or September 5th, 6th. We would do a 3 p.m. and a 6 p.m. performance each day in those cases. In terms of a deadline, it's really more about when we fill our calendars, so the sooner the better. We reach out all across the region and try to be booking a few weeks in advance. Our event is funded entirely through concession sales. We have popcorn, cotton candy, classic circusy snacks, and little light-up toys. And if people like the show and like what we do, then we accept donations from the people. But we never charge any family a single dime to bring out the whole family, watch the show, and have a great time. I know it sounds a bit strange, but this is what we do, and we make it work. I believe I mostly covered what responsibilities would be handled by us and by the city above, but please let me know if I missed anything. I've reached out to over 50 other locations in Northern Illinois. I know they are currently looking for a spot for us in Oregon, Illinois. We try and keep the places we go over an hour drive apart, so for instance, we wouldn't go to both LaSalle and Oglesby. I'd predict we'll be in Northern Illinois for about 3 to 4 weeks, then Southern Illinois for another 3 or so weeks, mostly depending on where has availability and who is interested in having us. We have done around 60 cities so far this year alone, and I'll list below a couple contacts of a few of them so you can get an idea of how things went. I guess when we talked, Jason, we thought that there would be some sort of a cost associated with that.
Yep.
I don't know, other than letting them set up a tent, I don't know what we need council approval really. I
Yeah.
mean, it'd be nice, I guess, but,
I would think they'd need electricity too, Rich. He mentions water, but
yeah, it just says an or a
No.
garden hose.
maybe they have their own generators.
I don't know. I mean, that's pretty amazing. When the first opportunity came up, I thought, oh, if they're not charging people, that means they're gonna need to charge us something. So, yeah, I'd like to look into that. I mean,
I'll have to tell them probably tonight.
yeah, so here's the thing. We can't take a vote on something, but I mean, I'd like to be able to give direction to you on what we wanna do with it. I think it's a great opportunity. The only thing I don't like is trying to bring new events to the city with such a short lead time. We usually plan our events so far in advance. One thing I want to make sure is we're not damaging another city if they have a big thing going on. That's why our things are laid out so far in advance. So if any of those, if you'd like to work with the clerk's office or Zoe and see, just to make sure that none of our nearby cities have some other kind of event going on, like I hate for saying we're bringing a circus and all of a sudden it's the same weekend Sweet Corn Festival's happening in Mendota, and then I got the mayor calling me going, what are you doing, you know? So, that kind of stuff. I think it's a great thing. Anytime we can get more activities for more events happening, whether, I prefer downtown, but I mean, don't get me wrong, a party in the park down in Lehigh is fantastic. So we'll go around the room and offer, anybody has comments on either one of those options, both the music in the park or this new circus.
Totally cool with the circus thing. I think it'd be great. I didn't necessarily, as far as the music in the park, I think that's great too. Love it. I think I don't think that park has really been utilized half as much as it should be over really throughout my lifetime, honestly. But I do agree with you, Jason. There was a concern about like line items, appropriations, things for different things, and so in this appropriations, well, I would say there's not an event fund, but there's 2 funds where like event stuff comes out of. It would either be, the main one is Motel Hotel, but then the other one would be Summer Fun Fest Fund, but I think Motel Hotel's the main one. And so, I mean, if you go through the appropriations this year, with the numbers that were given to us, in the appropriations under Motel Hotel, there is a line item for Bark in the Park Entertainment, Bark in the Park Equipment, Bark in the Park DJ, Bark in the Park Miscellaneous Supplies, Bark in the Park Advertising, Bark in the Park Food, Bark in the Park Raffle Basket, Boots and Brews Entertainment, so all the way down. So, you know, I do think, you know, if that is what we want to see, we should be consistent and we should make, I mean, obviously, well, I guess, yeah, the fiscal year ends about when we're done in office, but I would encourage, you know, in the next appropriations, that, you know, if we're gonna do that for all of the events that we have now, that we also do it for things like music in the park. But I did inquire about this because this did come up. I did inquire about this, and I believe what this was billed to in the appropriations from last year, I believe I was told it was put under Motel Hotel, and it was miscellaneous and contingencies, if I'm not mistaken. And so, again, I don't even really think that we have to break the events down like we did, but I know that was the direction that we wanted to go. So I do think it's good to be consistent and do that, but wholly supportive of the music in the park and wholly supportive of the idea of the circus. Just, you know, be consistent. So that's it.
Circus good. Yay, but if we're gonna talk about events, like the police are doing their National Night Out tomorrow, like how far are you taking this? Like, there's things that happen within a department that's solely in the department. Like Summer Fun Fest is all encompassing. It touches sorry guys, touches everybody and my water bottle in every department. So I feel like there is some coordination expected, and I think that was mostly what the frustration was, is that there was no coordination of who is going to do what, which brings me up to a larger issue, is not even really an issue. I wanted to maybe make an appointment either with Mayor or Austin, including maybe Chief, to discuss how we can keep the communication going, because when we do bring these big events in, police presence is necessary in some cases. And this is more so than just events. This could also be Dickinson House Rentals, or if there's like a giant graduation party down at Lehigh and they rented the pavilion. These are things that probably coordination needs to happen within the police department that we could improve. So,
I'll jump in on that. So I had a conversation with the chief after a IBRD board meeting, because he asked me the question and said, hey, what's this thing with this music thing in the park? Because we need to probably schedule some police with it. And I said, you know, that's the problem. Again, I'm getting questions from everybody. I do not know the details of that. But then he had a great comment where he says, you did sign the liquor license, right? And I'm like, I did. So the thing that's weird about that one is this is probably the first time that we've had a liquor license for a special event that didn't already come through the council, right? Because usually all of the other ones, right, whether it's something that is done, like if it's done at the root beer stand, or it's a special type of event or something like that, usually the council, like we close off the street or something like that, the council has an action for it. So this was a unique one where the council didn't approve anything. So I recognize that with the chief, and you're absolutely right. You know, if anybody is doing these kind of events, just like Fun Fest, right, that needs to be a significant discussion, because he has to reserve people for that, to make sure that we have stuff. If the event is super, super large, you might even have to go to outside sources to be able to get resources and things like that. So absolutely. I agree. Mac.
Well, I think it's a great idea and it's a great opportunity. I don't think you'd have to worry about any other city having anything, because I'm sure it's not that big of, I mean, it's not Ringling Brothers Circus. And I do agree with Hillary. The police department does need to be notified for any kind of event so they can have enough personnel on call. That's it.
Rich?
Good job, Rich.
You always say to get the park board involved. On February 18th, they were involved, and Angie spoke on the upcoming music in the park for the late summer fall, and is looking to have We Are Oglesby do a beer garden once or twice with some fundraising attached. The board agreed that a beer garden would be welcomed, and fundraising should start with trees in Lehigh and Memorial Parks. Also, for the circus thing, I kind of need an answer so that we can, are we gonna wait a
Absolutely.
couple days and figure out who else is doing stuff,
Well,
or are we gonna?
I think you kind of have consensus from the council, and the fact that we don't have to put a dollar amount up, I don't think you probably need a council vote, otherwise you would. So the good news is I think it's within your realm to do so.
And the concern was with the time, so we
Yes.
should push it out as far as possible, I think. I
Well,
believe that's,
it helps to do that so we can get more people there, because
Labor Day
especially if
weekend.
you're doing something with under a month. But the big thing is I would work with Zoe to make sure that there isn't a conflict with another city going on, especially, and I generally don't worry about cities like get out as far as Morris and stuff like that, because there's too many events. The ones I'm really concerned about is LaSalle, Peru, Mendota, Spring Valley, Ottawa to some extent, because those are the ones that we really share a lot of the people with. We try to have an agreement with all of them that we don't take major events over top of each other. So if you can find something in that few-week thing, that'd be great. I think you got your concurrence here, unless I read the room wrong.
why don't you ask the circus to give you dates, and then you shoot them
They
to
gave-
Zoe and say, hey,
they
which
gave-
one works?
They gave
8/29, 8/30, or 9/5 and 9/6.
Oh, okay.
That's Labor Day weekend. So I look at something like that, it's free, and they can come and enjoy all that. Why should we not offer that? Even if there's 10 things going on in the area, this is something that families don't have to spend any money at if they don't want to. They can enjoy their Labor Day weekend and have some time out with their family, and it's not gonna cost them anything.
Again, I don't think there's enough concerned to say, don't do it. I just want to make sure that there's not a nearby neighbor that has a major event going on, and I don't know off the top of my head if that is the case or not. That'd be my only fear. Because I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to
don't know if
cause,
they need help,
I just don't want to try to cause bad blood with other cities. I mean, we're already, yeah.
No.
Okay, and as far, my
We have
two
a
cents,
ringleader.
my 2 cents as far as the events for the Party in the Park, again, it's about consistency. If that park board made that recommendation, then that recommendation should have came to the main council here to approve. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just want to make sure that, again, because I wanted to try to create a lot more smaller events, and I got an incredible amount of pushback from this board here, saying that any new events, this council's supposed to be approving. So I want to make sure that that's in the same realm.
So are you saying for next year, the police need to budget for first responder night if they decide to do cops and bobbers again?
If you remember this conversation we had from over a year ago, that was one of the events that was already listed.
Okay, but you're saying you wanted appropriated line by item
Well,
for consistency?
we at least have Fun Fest in, right? So that, because that, again, remember, I think I commented during appropriations, it's not perfect. We don't have every single one. Maybe that can get better and more detailed as time goes on. Austin read off some of the things that were listed in that thing there. I do think it needs to get better over time.
I would say though, with the police, because they have a community policing, line item, you could use that for that, because it is a community event, we're trying to get people out, so it would be kind of a similar situation, but that would work for this year.
I'll say I didn't think this had to be this specific, but it was the direction we chose to go, so, but as far as that's concerned, you know, off the cuff in a vacuum, no, I don't think that needs to have a line item, but.
Okay.
I'll get straight up with that.
There was just discussion. Is there anything else on the topic at all?
Again, it is the third year, so this isn't a new event by any means.
Okay, point taken. 11, new business. A, discussion and possible action on IML conference current. I put this on here because I think this time last year we had already approved it. I don't have any figures up there. I put something out to the council on what days people necessarily want to go. I would prefer not to have to go up multiple days, but unfortunately there is some really good things on Thursday. And I was hoping at least some commissioners or somebody would be available. I really can't take multiple days off work. So I was just planning on going up Friday, but if there's other people that can do more days, I think that'd be wonderful. Just thought I'd put it out there so we can, and if, whatever people want to do, we can get it on the agenda for the next one to formally get done, because we probably got to block rooms and things like that. So, more on the room.
The dollar amount last year, I was told by Jen, was 13.5 that we authorized a maximum of. So I don't know if that number needs to be bumped up or whatever. I actually don't. I guess I didn't check before the meeting how much we actually spent last year on it, but I assume it was enough since we authorized 13.5 for it. I know last year there was kind of a weird thing where checks for it were issued beforehand, and I think we talked about this
Thank you.
issue probably
Thank you.
about 3 times since I've been on the council. I think we might have also changed an ordinance to address that. So I believe the ordinance would, well, at least my recommendation from an administrative standpoint would be that people submit for reimbursement after the conference with receipts, as opposed to getting that check and then, figuring out what the difference was and giving the difference back. So just administratively, I think that's the best way to do it, and I assume the ordinance that we passed, I don't remember the exact wording of it, but I assume that would allow for that, so that's it.
I appreciate that, thank you. I forgot about that. That was actually one of the other reasons I put it on here to talk about that. So, Hillary.
I will review my schedule and I will let you know. We got some big changes at work too, so I will have to look at those dates.
Yep. Matt.
I'm perfectly fine. I'll go Thursday and Friday. I'm
Thank you.
available.
Thank you, perfect. Rich?
Yeah, I don't believe that that's a ordinance, really. I think that was a mandate by the state of Illinois under the Travel Act. So it's not like we just made something up.
No, we did. We had to
It's
make
under
a,
the Travel Meal Lodging Act, right, Pat?
we had to make a travel ordinance though, that mirrored that, I
And I
believe.
think, I want to say we modified it after that.
Yeah, so what happened was, previous commissioner of finance wanted to do it to where people got paychecks ahead of time in case they needed it. I really don't like that idea. I love the idea of people putting in reimbursement checks, so that way they actually get compensated for the money they actually spent up there. I think that's the right way to do it, and I think that's what we agreed to do, so hopefully we won't run into that problem again.
Yeah, and Pat can tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe what the ordinance or policy that we changed was to say that you guys would make, or you would agree to up to a certain point, and then everybody would, like.
Submit receipts.
Submit receipts, and we would do it that way. So you
Okay.
did wanna get to the point of where you were going to, get
Well,
people back.
So I do have it on here, possible action, but in reality, we don't really have action in front of us. Unless you wanted to make it that simple where we just set a dollar amount, could do that, and that way it's
Yeah.
done. Or do you wanna put something together and then we can actually, what would you prefer to do
Honestly, I
this?
think just doing up to the dollar amount would be fine. The city will pay for all of the hotels, but other than that, it's just gonna be reimbursement. So that would be the
Okay.
only, the hotel amount is the only thing that really will do anything for us to start with, so.
Well, then, here's what I'd recommend, Austin. Do you wanna make a motion to pay, authorize up to $13,500 for possible, for reimbursement costs for it? You could do that. And if you find out that the 13.5, for some reason, the cost had gone up, and where it's not going to cover that,
Yeah.
then we could adjust that.
Well, I
next
think
meeting.
13.5 last year probably, I wanna say that did include the rooms, because I think we authorized the
That did
total
include the
amount.
rooms.
Yeah,
That was everything.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was
So I don't think it would be for reimbursements, it'd just be total.
However you'd like to do it, or if you wanna wait, we can do it next meeting. I just wanna make sure that we can get things
I
booked.
think you need to
I
get
believe
it
the law is
together.
pretty
Get it
clear, you need
together.
receipts.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And the ordinance that we were doing and were speaking about a year ago was that we needed pre-approval. And that's what we need the council to do tonight, is to give us pre-approval, but you do need receipts on everything.
Yep. All right, if you
Yeah,
wanna make a
let's go.
motion, one last thing we have to put on the agenda next meeting.
Did you recommend that we do it for next meeting, Pat?
Yeah, I recommended that you look at the numbers so you know what you
Okay.
have to pre-approve and put it on the agenda for the next meeting, Rich? Is that a problem?
Could we just put the, have Jen is gonna call up there and do the room? I mean, no one else can modify that or do anything to it. I don't see how that could be,
Well, the room isn't the problem so much, I don't.
well, everything else you
The
have to have
daily
receipts
room.
for.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't wanna waste a lot of time on logistic stuff. Let's just,
I'll get
put
it
something
all-
together,
yep.
put it on the next agenda,
Yep,
we'll
not a
get it
problem.
resolved. Okay, excellent. B, discussion and possible action on Cassell Training Cullinan.
Yeah, so this is something that I believe Aaron and Patty went to last year. I don't actually think that this is something that has to be a council level decision because it won't exceed $25,000. So, and I do believe, there was, if I'm not mistaken, I do remember a conversation previously, it was before I was on the council, but I remember Commissioner Stefanelli saying, the council has to be the kind of be the oversight for members of the council, but obviously council members kind of are the oversight for their specific employees. And so I don't necessarily know if this is something that needs a council vote, but they'd be going up there. I don't remember how many days they spent up there last year.
2 days.
Yeah,
Yep, it's 2 days up in Wisconsin.
yeah.
I would think under our rules, if you thought you needed to accompany them, then.
I won't be
you would have
accompanying
to-
them.
Yeah, so I think it falls within your purview then, if your
I
employees.
agree.
Okay.
Department heads can approve their
Okay.
own.
Sounds good to me.
Anyone else wanna talk about it, or anybody else have any concerns on that? Okay.
Appreciate you bringing it up.
C, discussion and possible action on peddler's license, Curran. All right, I guess this is put to me just because nobody else wanted it, so. Okay, so I completely understand that we have an ordinance for peddler's license and things like that, and I do believe that there still could be some value in that. I do kind of question the value of a peddler's license, today versus something like 40 or 50 years ago. The internet exists now and stuff, and I kind of want to quote, when I was in the audience there, and it was Commissioner Porter up here. I can't even remember what it was for. I think it was something for roofing or something like that. And he had a great line when he says, I don't think there's been a public outcry for a need for roofers to come through and knock on people's doors. So I think, in my opinion, is for peddler's license, it makes sense if there's a known need for a public benefit, to have people knocking on people's doors for stuff like that. So in the past, if there was something we know, or because we worked with the internet company to provide fiber placements and stuff. I thought there was value. We did that for a couple of years. But in this case, it's pest control and I believe encyclopedias.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, books.
Yeah.
Books, yeah.
So, and I know some of the other cities do it. I'm not trying to deny somebody the opportunity to do that, but I just don't know if there's, in my opinion, I don't know if there's value there. If, I'll tell you what, I would recommend that we deny it, but I'll tell you what, if there's a public outcry in the next meeting during public comments, we get 20 people come up and say, I want someone stopping by my house to tell me about options for pest control or encyclopedias or books, I will apologize and say I read that one wrong, and we can come back and approve peddler's license. That's my opinion. I don't want to be having people bothered at their house for things that are not a public benefit. That's my 2 cents. Awesome.
I think I said something to this effect last year, but I really don't care one way or another, so.
Hillary.
Yeah, that said, I'm not gonna, it's not a hill I'm gonna die on. I bought encyclopedias when I was a kid from a peddler
Oh,
in
man.
Oglesby, so.
Oh, man.
I thought they
the
were
next big
really
controversy.
cool,
The next big
but
controversy.
not a hill I'm gonna die on, so.
All right. Matt.
Well, I'm all for the dictionaries and encyclopedias, but don't we have an ordinance on that already? I mean.
The ordinance is the peddler's application that they
If
put
have to
in.
file an application, you have to approve them back. The question is whether you want to approve them.
So the peddler that we're approving is,
People
So
that,
pest
they
control.
put it, pest control, and I think there's 2 for pest control, and
There's a whole group of them for pest control, but they're all
Okay.
together. There was just like maybe 3 or 4, people
Okay.
that were gonna do it. And then the book one, there's only 1 person, and it's just, it's the college kids that come through every year right about this time where they're trying to sell kids' books and things like that.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I got 2 commissioners thinking there's a, so I mean, if I read it wrong, I read it wrong, and I'm okay with that, so, Rich.
Are these guys local, the pest control? Because we do have local.
Oh, I don't
contractors.
remember looking at the application,
I don't think
I
any
don't
of them
think
are
they are.
local, no.
They run through, because they do get a background check by the police, department, and I think everything came back okay, but, so that's that. Okay, so,
no.
the good news is I don't have to make the motion, so, it's whatever people, I'd prefer that we don't allow it though, but I read that wrong. If commissioners think, hey, I remember times where we got encyclopedias that way.
I'll make a motion
and-
to deny it. It's fine.
No, I am not trying to strong arm you.
No,
If you
no.
believe there's
I'll
value out
second.
there. All right.
I'll say.
All right, so there's a motion and a second to deny the peddler's applications, peddler's permit applications. Roll call,
Baldridge.
please.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Well, that was a fun one. Okay.
that's
D,
kinda
discussion and possible action on Gonzalez MOU Moyle.
So this is something that's been in the works for a while. One of the things that we have been discussing in closed session.
Yeah, that's,
It's kind of like one of those things specifically. Do I talk about the details of it publicly? Because it, okay.
I wouldn't.
okay.
I guess I can announce with the passing of this, if we all agree, as far as March 8th, 2027 will be Officer Gonzalez's last day with the city. So it should be a celebration, and I wish him the best.
Absolutely. Mac?
Well, Gonzalez, I've worked with you for quite a few years. I'm all for it. Thanks.
Okay, Rich?
I'm for it as well.
Austin?
No, nothing beyond thanking Hugo for all of his years of service. You know, I think he's one of the few police officers left that I know my dad worked with when he was there, and it's kind of a whole new department. So again, to see another familiar face go is, you know, unfortunate, but I wish him the best in retirement.
Yep. The only thing I have to add, just for explanation of why would you do an MOU for someone retiring? Because I believe he was a transfer in, and his situation is a little bit unique for him to qualify for his years of service. I won't go into the details of it though, but we do have to approve a specific MOU to allow him to continue his retirement, and it was negotiated. It's a great fair thing for both sides, and I think it's amicable, and everybody should be happy about it. So I wish him the best of luck and thank him for his many years of service. And I'm sure we'll probably do something on retirement yet for in March timeframe. So if there's nothing else, make a motion to approve the MOU.
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU on Gonzalez.
And I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. E, discussion on liquor license for new Wing Snob, Curran. Okay, so that is not a typo. You probably thought it was. So here's what I can say. About a week ago, we had a meeting with the liquor store. There's been some complications with the liquor store, trying to get that going. Public knows about all that. That's one thing. And in that meeting that we had, one of his business partners informed me that he is looking to purchase the old Burger King. And in the Burger King, he is looking to put a business in there that is very similar to a Wingstop. So when he's saying all this to me, I'm like, that's fantastic. I said, do you know about our, he says, yes, I know all about your facade improvement grant and everything like that. So he's looking at, we gave him an application for that. I was trying not to show my excitement because that to me is the next biggest eyesore we have in the community. And he said, well, one of the things is because, you know, it's like a Wingstop, we would need a liquor license. Would there be a problem in getting a liquor license? And I told him, I says, I seriously doubt you would run into any problems getting if you were going to revamp that building. He says, okay, how do I go about a liquor license? And that's where I had to talk to him. I said, well, here's the thing. Right now, the way it works is because we have an available liquor license, because we did have another business close, I technically can approve that. He says, great, that's wonderful. And I said, well, hold on. The problem is, a couple years ago, I was even the person that made the recommendation that I don't believe that a single person in the city should be the one that gets to make the decision if a business does get to come or doesn't come. And I wasn't the mayor at the time, and I still believe that to this day. So I said, the problem is, I made a commitment that I would get concurrence from the council before doing that. And he says, okay. And I said, well, so keep in mind, if I get concurrence publicly from the council, that means they're gonna know about your development here, because there's other developments that I cannot wait to tell everybody about and talk about, but I can't because due diligence hasn't been done. And he said, well, I don't have the land completely done yet, but I don't have a concern about that. I said, are you sure? I said, because if I talk about it public, I can handle this a couple different ways. But if you're sure, he says, yep, absolutely, talk about it publicly. I have no issues with that. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Hopefully I'll get everything completed by September. I said, perfect. So that's why I'm here talking to you about that. So in the old Burger King, they are looking to do a Wing Snob, which is apparently very similar to a Wingstop. I wanted to make sure that nobody here has a problem with giving them a liquor license because it is a new location that never had a liquor license before. We do not have to modify the ordinance, but I just want to make sure I have concurrence from that. If I don't have concurrence, that's fine. We can talk about that in a little more detail, but I just want to make sure that everybody has a comment that has an opportunity to comment on it. Austin.
I don't have an issue with it. Like I've said in the past, I'm supportive of, I don't like the idea of gatekeeping liquor licenses or anything like that. You know, if somebody wants one and there's not a concern with the product, or if there's no concern with the products they sell, I don't really think that we should be limiting them from getting one. So I'm supportive. That's it.
Hillary?
Hope they come. I hope it all goes through.
I'm telling you, when he said it was the Burger King, I'm like, oh my God, that's the next biggest eyesore. How can I make this? We need to make this happen. Okay, Mac.
I'm all for it.
Okay, Rich.
Simple.
I'm supportive, but off the subject. Did you say they're buying the building or leasing it, or did they say anything like that?
I believe they're trying to buy it. from
That's
the
what I
way
thought he
that
said.
The way that it
He-
was explained.
He
to
did not
us.
give me a date, just said September. And I said, are you sure you want me to talk about it? He says, no problem.
I know that they have already put the application for the liquor license in, but we
Yep.
can't process it until they own the building or
Correct.
have a lease for the building.
They need to have
so-
something,
Yeah.
they need to have something saying that they're gonna own the
Yeah,
building.
But they
before
have
do it.
already done stuff, so.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. What I did tell him is, you know, the funny thing is, I can't imagine what would have to come there for us to wanna say no to it. I mean, there's probably only a few businesses I could think of off the top of my head that we would say no if they're gonna revamp that entire
There's a few
building.
things I can think of. Yeah.
There's a few things, but not much. So, nobody has anything else on that? We can move on. 12, public comment on any topic. Yes, sir. Please do not tell me that you're not going to accept this role, the appointment. If you say that, I will probably lose my.
Nothing along those lines.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to share, I was expecting something on the agenda tonight, and it was not. On July 24th, Commissioner McDermott shared with me an application that somebody made for a special use permit and a request to change textual language in the land development code. And you guys got that email on the 22nd, because Patty received it on the
Yeah, that's
21st,
right.
and she forwarded it to you guys on July 22nd. So here we are 2 weeks later. And typically what we've done when we get those kind of requests is the council refers it to the plan commission. All right? I did some reading of the land development code yesterday. Found there's nothing that specifically says that.
My apologies, I
So-
should have kept up on that, Jim.
My question for Pat would be, if it doesn't specifically say the council has to refer it, may the zoning, or the plan commission take it up without being referred?
I think the proper thing is for the council to review it.
Okay,
If the
so
city
here's-
gets a request, I think it should be discussed and referred to the plan commission.
Here's the problem, is that was submitted on July 21st. The plan commission has 60 days from receipt to act on it. So we're at 14 days tomorrow. The next meeting's another 14 days. Half of the time to act is gone. And then you have to advertise, which is gonna take you another week. And it has to advertise for at least 2 weeks. So now the plan commission is down to 1 week, to actually have a meeting and make a recommendation.
Jim, I apologize. There's been so much
That's my fault.
stuff that keeps going back and forth with so much with zoning administrator stuff. Something might have been lost in translation. Can you give me, what's the subject of the change?
We had a business request a special use permit, and I'll tell everybody when
It's
they.
the dog grooming thing, right? Is that what you're talking
No.
about? No, that's something different.
Bigger than that. So I'll tell everybody that I had a meeting with these folks, and Commissioner, Plan Commissioner Kyle, the chairman of the board, we met with them, say, hey, look, your application, what you wanna do here doesn't fit the zone. This is what we think we can do, that you can do, that you can actually present something to the Plan Commission to give an opinion on. They've looked into it for quite a while, they came back, filed an application, they talked to Burton about it, Burton kind of gave him, bless you, submit it type of thing. But we haven't moved forward, so the question is, do we wait another 2 weeks to put this on?
Can-
Maybe the Plan Commission
Can I make a recommendation? I guess I got the email. I didn't realize there was action to be taken. I apologize. It wasn't very clear.
That's my fault.
Is anyone available for a special meeting so we can move this
I
forward?
don't even, I'll be honest, I'm at a loss here. Did it get glossed
I'm looking
over?
at it.
What-
I'm
what
looking
is
at
I
it?
think it's what I asked about at the beginning of the meeting, isn't it?
What is it?
Property out west, Jim?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I think we just need,
I can name it.
yeah, I just think we need to
You'll
get
be
it to the
fine.
plan commission, I'll arrange that meeting, Jim. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I
The
think
council's
this
got
should
no
be-
problem referring this to the plan commission, correct?
I sure don't.
Oh, yeah, I thought that
You
was already.
recommend that, Jim?
Something's
Push
moving
it,
with
you
that, I
you
thought.
recommend pushing it to the plan commission, is that?
Yeah. right.
I agree.
Well, we
should
definitely
get
need to
moving
do
on
that.
I'll take the ball and run with it.
I apologize. I thought that something was moving with that. I guess I didn't recognize that you needed something on the agenda for that. Otherwise, I would have put that on. Again,
My
now that we have a zoning administrator, hopefully those things won't get overlooked.
Well, that ain't his fault, that's
The
mine.
question, Pat,
I
is.
dropped the
We
ball.
have a 15-day publication requirement.
Right, but the other thing is the text amendment. Technically, a property owner can't request the text amendment.
Only the council can.
Only council can, but the plan commission can make a recommendation on their own. So in this case, would we, without a recommendation from the city council, allow the plan
Do you
commission?
want to
do that?
consider making a recommendation on a text amendment?
How do we, and does the advertisement for the hearing need to be 2 separate line items?
Mm.
One for the text change
Yeah.
and one
And one for
the,
the special
one
use.
for the special use.
Yeah,
Do-
I'll take care of that, Jim.
All right.
Do we need to have a special meeting to formally approve it quicker?
I don't think so, we're.
Okay.
At least I don't know yet, Hillary.
Okay.
It depends on when we can get the plan commission meeting set up. My first task usually is to reach out to Kyle and
Right.
make sure he's gonna be here, cause he's the chairman. And then hope we get enough, members to fall in place to be able to be at that meeting. And we'll try to time that before your next meeting, but we can't because we don't have 15 days.
No,
Let me,
We'll be able to,
let me
won't
ask
be
you
able
this,
to.
Pat. So normally,
The first time the council could take it up is the first week in September. Is that within the 60 days, Jim? or-
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make
Well, it's not the council has to take it up, it's the plan commission has to give a recommendation within 60
And then it's gotta come back to us.
Pat, let me,
I like to have final action on it within the 60 days myself,
Right.
but
Pat, let me ask you this. So I know
Thanks,
one of
Jim.
the things that the council can do is we can formally recommend actions for the plan commission to review things and stuff like that. I know that the plan commission can come up with their own things to do something like that. Is, in this case, if it's one that requires a publication, does that still fall in that category, that they can do that then?
That they can come up.
They can come up with, because I know that they can put forward things that they believe that needs to be addressed in the city. If it's one that requires publication, if they can,
Yes.
well, that, I think that's the answer then.
Yeah, and it will say to consider the request of so-and-so for this text amendment, and to consider the request of so-and-so for this, special use permit. So we'll cover both in the publication.
Otherwise, I wish we could just do it tonight, but technically, per our rules, we'd have to have it on there.
And I've made the recommendation that maybe the next council meeting, you find somebody to take my position on plan commission, so there's just opportunity for quorums.
So I think what I'll need letter of resignation from your various boards, because you'll be the,
I think I automatically excluded.
I don't
Matt,
know.
Yeah, I think you should resign though, Jim, from the two boards,
you know.
just to make it.
Make it
clear.
Yep,
official.
and then what we'll do is we'll put that out to get those appointed then.
All right, very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks
My
for saying something,
apologies.
Jim.
Appreciate that. All
I
right,
should
first
keep
act
it.
as zoning administrator, look at that. Okay, any other public comments on any topic? Being none, we'll move on. Commissioner reports, number 13, Commissioner Cullinan.
I don't have anything tonight. I know a few people have said it, figured I would say it for the crowd. Happy birthday to Commissioner Baldridge. Yeah. But that's it. Nothing.
Okay.
Commissioner Moyle.
Oh,
Why don't
yeah.
you throw mine up? Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to
There you
honor
go.
the July First Responder of the Month, Brett Valley. Sergeant Brett Valley began his career with the Oglesby Police Department on August 25th, 2010, and has faithfully served the city of Oglesby for more than 15 years. Throughout his career, he has worked in several different capacities within the department, demonstrating his versatility, professionalism, and commitment to serving our community. As a supervisor, Sergeant Valley leads by example and is known for his strong work ethic, dependability, and dedication to the department. He consistently goes above and beyond what is expected, frequently volunteering to work extra hours to ensure the department is properly staffed and that the community continues to receive the highest level of service. Sergeant Valley's experience, leadership, and willingness to help others have made him an invaluable member of the Oglesby Police Department. His commitment to both his fellow officers and the citizens of Oglesby exemplifies the qualities of an outstanding public servant. And this month is sponsored by Noblesdorf. So, how very exciting. And then next meeting, I do have the statistics for July, but I'm going to save them for next meeting, so.
All right. Commissioner McDermott.
Okay, first off, congratulations to the senior baseball team.
Yeah.
Let's go win that championship. Also, I would like to ask people be careful. Street department will be painting curbs up by the school. You gotta make sure that that's safe for the kids. The wastewater treatment plant is making headway. Thank you, Visiting. And for the individuals with the safe route to schools, I'm looking into something with the water. We'll have to figure something out. And Jim, I apologize. I should have brought that up. I should have kept on it. Thank you. That's all I have. Rich?
Commissioner Baldridge.
I'd also like to thank and congratulate the Central baseball team here, and wish them good luck. I think they play tomorrow. Last day of the pool is August 8th. Music in the Park, thank you to the Parks Department for getting things in order for this night of fun for everyone. They did a tremendous job with the fields for the tournament and then got right to work on everything else. Music in the Park will be from 7 to 10 this Friday, August 7th at Lehigh Park. Plenty of parking by the pool. It will include a beverage tent sponsored by We Are Oglesby, with all proceeds going towards their fundraiser goal to refinish the helicopter in Cannon and Memorial Park, estimated to be around $20,000. Tony's Tacos will also be there to serve tacos. Tomorrow night, after the first responder night, Ducky Derby will be dropping in the ducks in the pool at 7 o'clock. Please bring your kids to help splash the ducks to the finish line, and our lifeguards will be on duty. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Number 14 is executive session. Before I read all that stuff, do we have a need to go in there?
I don't have
I know you have
any.
an update, but I think you
There's no
pretty much-
action.
There's no
Yeah.
action yet that we can take on
Right.
anything? Okay, does anybody have anything else then?
No.
In that case, let's, we'll skip
Make a
executive
motion to
session.
adjourn.
And, sorry, Mac?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Well, number 15, adjournment. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Go Senior League, Illinois Valley. 8 a.m.